Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Janet. I'm really glad to have you here. Tonight I'm making a carrot souffle, ham steak, and rice pilaf. Stay tuned. So to get started, I've set my oven to preheat at 350 degrees. I'm just going to peel and clean 4 carrots that equal about a pound, maybe a pound and a half. And then I will cut them into 1-inch discs so that I can boil them for 20 minutes or until they're fork tender. I really love this peeler. I can peel up and down, and it goes so much faster. And I always peel back into the bag that I have that the vegetables come out of. It just seems simpler to clean up. So that's my tip for the day. Okay, so now that I have the carrots boiled for 20 minutes in salt water, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get them in the food processor. And I really recommend that you use a food processor. Otherwise, if you use a masher, it's just going to be the wrong consistency and texture. So I'm adding 6 tablespoons of butter. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend that up together. And all the ingredients and the full recipe are listed in the description box below. I can't remember exactly what each measurement is, and I did combine everything into containers to make it easier for me for filming. This is 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla. And then in this container, I have white sugar. I have 2 tablespoons of packed brown sugar. And I have nutmeg and cinnamon. The recipe also called for mace, but I didn't have any mace. And it tasted absolutely delicious without it, so I don't think that I was missing that 1/8 of a teaspoon that it called for. So once I've got this processed down, I'm going to scrape down the sides. And the recipe called for sifted flour, so I sifted my flour and my baking powder together, and that's what I'll be putting in next. And the last thing that you want to incorporate into this are 3 eggs. And then once the 3 eggs are added and processed, I'll go ahead and pour the whole souffle mix into a 2-quart casserole dish that has been sprayed with the Pam baking spray, not to be confused with the Pam cooking spray. I'm using the baking spray because that's what the recipe actually called for. And of course, I just happened to have some of that on hand, so I went ahead and I used it. If I didn't, I probably would have used butter or possibly the regular Pam spray. And you'll see my editing. I jump right from pouring the souffle into the casserole dish, and next thing you'll see is the ham, and that was for modesty purposes. My shirt and camera angle, I opted to not show myself putting the souffle into the oven. And I think this could actually be used as a dessert. It actually does say to, you could garnish it with powdered sugar. So here we are with the ham. I am sprinkling on dry mustard and pepper. The recipe did not call for dry mustard or pepper. I just thought that I'd like to season the ham itself a little bit more. And so I'm going to do that. And then I'll flip it over and do the other side. Now the souffle is in the oven at 350 degrees, and it's going to bake for 1 hour. And I'm preparing the ham, which bakes also at 350 degrees, but it only bakes for a half hour. And I'm being mindful of the boxed rice pilaf that I'll be making, and trying to time all this so it all comes out at the same time. Here I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of honey. This recipe is real simple. It's a 1/4 cup of honey, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, which I already have in my little glass container here, 1/4 cup of mustard, and a cup of apple cider. And I used apple juice because I didn't have cider, but I did have juice on hand. And I would probably add something to thicken this a little bit, because I'd like it more like a thicker glaze, or not gravy, but just a thicker sauce. And I decided here at the last minute that I would like something a little more savory, considering that the carrots are pretty sweet. There's quite a bit of sweetness going on here. I thought I wanted to cut that a little bit, so I decided that I was going to go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. When this was baking and you could smell the mustard and the spices that were happening, it smelled almost like Christmas in my house. This was really good, and I'll make the souffle again for Christmas. It was so yummy, you guys. So here I go. I've decided this needs something else. I'm going to go and get that Lea & Perrins. Of course, you can use any brand of Worcestershire sauce that you'd like. Also, the casserole or the souffle, once it comes out of the oven, you want to let it rest for about 15 to 20 minutes before you cut into it, because you want it to set up so that you can cut it nicely. And I know you guys that my videos sometimes get kind of long, but I am trying and I am learning with my editing. So I'm just going to set this aside for a little while, and then I'm going to move on to my rice pilaf. Now I'm just using a boxed rice pilaf. I'm using the rice-a-roni, and we really love the convenience of rice-a-roni. If you use it, what's your favorite flavor? We love the rice pilaf itself. So I've got 2 tablespoons of butter in the pan heating up. I'm going to go ahead and brown up the rice. Okay, so the timer just told me that it's time to get the ham into the oven, and I'm putting it in for a half hour, and then the souffle will come out probably in about 15 minutes, and I'll let it rest for another 15 before I go ahead and take the ham out. I'm just going to keep working on this rice until it's finished, and show you how everything comes out. So I'm just going to let the music play for a couple minutes, and I think you all know how to do the rice-a-roni. It's just water. Now I split the water up. I don't know why. It's just something that I do. And then I put the seasoning in and add the rest of the water. And I pour the water in really slowly, because I've gotten some pretty bad steam burns before getting in there, stirring as I poured the water in. So be very careful when you're pouring water into a really hot vessel. Anyway, second tip of the day. So at this point, the rice is just about done. It just needs to set for a little while. I'm going to take it off the flame and just cover it and let the bits of water that are still at the bottom absorb. And as you can see, I took the souffle out of the oven, and it's just going to rest for about 15 minutes until it's time to take the ham out, which through editing it looks like it's that time now. So I'm going to go ahead and prepare my plate, and everything smells amazing, you guys. It smells so wonderful in my kitchen right now, and I am so excited to try this meal. I think, I told you that I would do something to thicken the gravy or the sauce up, the glaze. I also think that I would probably in the future go ahead and do the entire ham and the sauce and everything in the frying pan, because I like a fried ham steak more than a baked ham steak. It gives it an added flavor, and I kind of appreciate that more. So, you can do it either way, but my preference would be to fry the ham steak up. And I'm looking forward to using some of that leftover for my breakfast. So I've decided to cut the souffle like I would cut brownies, because I wasn't sure how rich it was going to be. And look how nicely it came out though, you guys. How it's nice and firm, and it just comes out really beautifully. It held together lovely. The flavor was amazingly good. And I think having the rice, I could have made another vegetable, but having the rice kind of broke up some of the sweetness between the other two dishes, and this really turned out to be a delicious meal. I hope you try it. I hope you like it, and I would really appreciate your support. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I would love to have you go ahead and push the bell icon. You can follow me on Instagram at Janet's Ways. And until next time, God bless y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.